Jeff Mayhew, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. You?
I'm doing great. Listen, thank you for doing this, and everybody else. Listen, Jeff Mayhew is this dude's a boss. I don't even know how many hours was he ran like 150 hours straight. What was the number of the that you just finished not too long ago?
You rounded up there a little bit, but it was 19 hours.
You so just like constant running 19 hours.
Yeah, we stopped.
I just throw up.
Your camera froze there for a second, so when you came back, I thought you said, "I just threw up."
I did in my mind. It happened, so that's okay. So this is the reason why I'm connected to Jeff, and just so everybody understands. So I'm a baseball human. I love baseball. It's something I've done since I was a kid. My grandfather and my step grandfather played for the Cincinnati Reds, and so I was really early indoctrinated into baseball as a Canadian. He's an American citizen who transplanted up here, and my oldest son is a high-level baseball player, and we just baseball people. And so I've spent all my life either playing, coaching, umpiring, involved in the sport, working with organizations. And when I moved to Nova Scotia, I wanted to continue doing that. And Jeff, through the wonderful, amazing things that he's done in his life, he's a fourth-generation business owner. He owns a sports store called Sport Wheels, Sports Excellence, in just outside of Halifax in Sackville. And him and his partner opened up a baseball training facility, and I was like, oh, I got a spot. This is so good. So, I don't want to talk about me, Jeff. Why did you open up? I know it was Kevin. It was your partner's idea or his passion, but you went along with that. I want to know why you went down that path specifically.
We've been in sporting goods like retail and service since as you mentioned, fourth generation. So my great grandfather started it in Prince Edward Island in 1947. So
holy crap!
So many years of like servicing sports gear and selling sports gear and repairing items and things like that. I've always wanted. We used to run like mountain bike clinics or group rides, and we do different events, but they were always kind of one-off things that we would do. And I always wanted to find a way to actually like facilitate play of any sort of activity of play, more of an ongoing thing. And when Kevin came to me with this idea, I was like, this could really work. This is cool. Like we could put our badge on it. It can be our thing. And we're not only just selling product now, we're giving them a place to actually go use and play the product. So yeah, I am going to talk about you for a second because you came through the doors and there's been so many people over the years that come through the doors and they want to help with the business, they want to help with this, and there's always some sort of catch, usually. You had a completely different approach and a completely different personality that the general manager at the time was like, you need to meet this Matthew Burns fellow. And I was like, oh, no, he's just someone else trying to sell us something. I don't want to deal with him. And then he just said, no, he's here a lot, and he hasn't tried to sell me anything. He just wants to talk to you. And then the first time we met, I was like, oh my God, there's an opportunity for us to really work together and help each other here. This is great. So anyway, that was, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, you like, I'm a little, thank you. I thank you. I get emotional when people talk nicely about me. I don't do things for myself very often. I really do want to do things for the best intention going forward, no matter what it is. But anyway, thank you.
Well, I could tell that everything that you spoke about was about trying to grow the game of baseball. Yes. And that was like the underlying thing of everything you were trying to do. So I knew you were genuine, and I knew we could relate on that because that's really what we were trying to do too. And you had an approach that was vastly different than mine, and I thought we could learn from you. So,
well, what I love that came out of it was that so unfortunately, and you knew this when I first started with you guys, you already knew that the building was eventually going to be torn down, and that has now since you guys are now no longer in that building. You're actually no longer running a training facility. But what was born out of that was temporarily. Thank you. That's perfect. But what was born out of that was the idea that, well, wait a second, if a lot of really good coaches started to pop their heads up and you were like, oh, wait a second, I can still help the community with the coaches that really want to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And whether it's, like you said, whether it's coaching for biking or softball, baseball, whether it's some sort of hockey camp that can be run, you guys are 80 some odd years in business in the Halifax Regional Municipality, so you've got this ability to communicate to a large group of people, and you decided to use that, and you created, what is it called? SW.
It's just called SW Programs. So we were just trying to find as with most businesses, you kind of start with a URL sometimes it's available. Probably not the best approach, but we needed people to know that it was not a side hustle or a whole new venture or a new business, that it was us. So it's a kind of a mirror site of our existing website, but program based. So you can go on there and sign up for programs. If you're a coach and you're looking for employment, you can go on to swprograms.ca and you can fill out the application to actually become a coach and work with us. So, and if they were coming on for baseball, then I would be forwarding them in your direction, and we would go partnership that way.
Right, exactly. And now, I mean, luckily we found a brand new spot that popped up because of a necessity, because your spot closed down, right. And these guys have been pretty awesome to work with, and we now have this, three-pronged approach to do that. So, and that makes me really excited, because truly, honestly, this isn't a money-making venture that we're on.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's funny, one of the things that I respected about when we first started chatting is, as much as I saw that you were trying to grow baseball, I could also see that you were trying to create jobs for, aspiring baseball athletes that have a background. And I was like, well, that's one of the things that drives me is that it's nice to sell sporting goods and keep people active, but it's also really cool to create jobs. And I get a big satisfaction out of that at the end of the day, and I could see that that's where you were headed with it, and that's why you were trying to get these coaches together and help them get in places where they can actually make an income teaching the sport they love, which is so cool.
Right, and this isn't replacing like needing a part-time job, right? They're coaching a couple hours a week. They're not making a ton of money, but what they are able to do is continue to practice and show off what they've learned, give back to the next generation of players, and they're able to be proud of the fact that somebody's recognizing them for their achievements in the sport that they love. A little greedy, like my son's one of the coaches, and right now he actually doesn't have the most hours. Jesse Holman, who's an amazing catcher, great ball player, good human being. He's now capitalized on most of the hours. He had the most availability this round. So no, the whole idea here was people who are community minded, want to give back, pay them properly so it's worthwhile for them to spend a half an hour to go work for an hour, right? Spend half an hour driving to go work for an hour. And then inspire the building to do more and what they can do to give back and inspire. I mean, I've made such good relationships with like the what's it called? The cricket coaches.
Oh, the cricket coach. Yeah.
Yeah, but the cricket coach, he's just a Trinidadian, amazing human being who I never watched him work with kids before until I got to this new facility, and him and I now really connected because I love that he's doing the same thing. He loves building up people and building up kids, and anyway, yes, I love that we're very synergized in that we're both driving the community forward as much as we possibly can. I also want to talk to you about, and wanted to get your take on, you're not going to like me, by the way. You have a very strong opinion about not wanting to look a certain way. And what I mean by that is, and I'm going to tell this story and I want you to explain yourself because you feel a way about it, is as a marketing professional, I believe in that the personal brand is as important as the business brand. And so, and you do too. And I know you do really believe in it. And I've talked to people now in our community who are like, holy crap, how much are you working with Jeff? Because Jeff is just like, wow, he's completely owning his space. And I'm like, this is incredible. This is so good. But you have a really hard time with, you think you have a really hard time. You don't. But you think you have a really hard time skating the fine line of telling people they should be active and motivating and being aspirational about being active. And so, can you tell me why you feel that way?
I feel like influencers, like I'm nowhere near an Instagram influencer, but if you looked at them just as a whole, there's the ones that people follow because they want to be like them, or they aspire to be like them, or they're very they like what they stand for and the things they do. And then there's the whole other group of them that are just preachy and jamming it down your throat. And whatever I do, I'm always analyzing. I don't want to ever go that way, but my mind will go there first, not intentional. It's just that's the first thought process I have. Like, I got to tell people about this. It's great. And I'm like, well, let's reel back, because you don't really want to just, you want to say it in a way that can be digested and understood, that most people are capable of taking that first step to get a little more active, maybe go for a walk or do something that's a little more engaging. And I feel like when I make a post, I'm always worried about risking falling into that other bucket where you're just preaching all the time, and I don't want to be that guy.
Right. And I'm going to tell you that people who don't want to be that guy never come across as that guy. They can't. It's impossible. But forget about all that. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up in this same conversation is, you don't realize, and so I really want to help you with this. You don't realize that everybody realizes their capabilities, and like you and I have been talking a lot about me and my physicality and how I'm really trying to go forward. Dude, I'm never running 19 hours straight. Like, I have no plan for that. I don't want to run 19 miles straight. But I've never once felt that you were like, hey Matt, the other day you said to me, this is why I want you to know that this is the authenticity that you already bring. You said, hey Matt, and you always start with this, and I hate it because she shouldn't have to, is hey Matt, I don't want you to think I'm, going at you on this, but do you do your walk after dinner? Because I was complaining about indigestion, a bunch of other problems, and you were like, do you do a walk after dinner? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you do that. Because here's what happens when you walk. I was complaining. You gave me some advice. You didn't force the issue. You just said, hey, do you do this thing? I then gave a litany of excuses of why I don't. And that's on me. But then what did I do? I went for a walk because I just needed to hear somebody say it. Like, you know what? Hey, listen, why don't you try this? Did I sleep better? Yes. Did I have indigestion problems that night? I don't remember because it was now a week ago. But since then, I've been moving every day a lot more than normal, so much that it inspired me to go like whole hog into a program called 75 Hard, where I'm going to challenge myself to just be a lot more active and a lot more intentional in when I move and why I move and where I go. I mean, I'm active. I'm at baseball 4 days a week when I'm here in Halifax, all winter long. In the summertime, not so much. I don't do as much training, baseball coaching, so I'm not as active. I do a lot of traveling because I'm meeting with clients and I'm in and out of the country. But that conversation sparked me to have more conversations about it.
No,
and I think that's what you're not realizing. That's what you do with people. Everybody whoever talked to, they're like, hey, did you notice Jeff's recent post? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. They're not runners. They're a mom. I have one, Stephanie Pottle, who is one of my coaches, one of a really good kid, 13-year-old baseball athlete. Because he's such a mature young man and he's really progressing, I thought if he was the coach as well, it would make him get more practice in, really break down his skill set. And he's done nothing but fly. But his mom is like, holy crap, like, you know what? Everybody's more motivated when we see what Jeff's been posting. The following you have isn't runners. The following is people who want to be inspired.
I appreciate that. That's kind of the goal. You were saying about you chose 75 Hard because it's more intentional around being active. Is that what you said?
Yeah. The way I digested 75 Hard is that I say this to my kids, and I practice it in business, but I don't really practice it with other parts of my life, is we're capable of much more than we realize as human beings.
The power we have over our body and mind is, well, you talked about the 19 hours, like running for 19 hours. There's a threshold there, and everyone's different, but there's a threshold that cross. For me, it's around 12 hours. Once you get past that 12-hour mark or 3 hours or 30 minutes, but it's different for everyone.
Mine's 12 minutes.
It's like your mind has a governor, like a car saying, oh no, we've hit our limit. It's time to shut it down. And being able to talk yourself through that and get on the other side of it. And then it'll rear its head again. And then being able to get on the other side of it again to push through. And whether pushing through is going from a 20-minute walk to a 30-minute walk or going from 17 hours to 19 hours, it's different for everybody. But just realizing that you are in control of that is crazy. You had mentioned about intentional. One of the things I wanted to bring up with that changed everything for me.
Okay.
Was, so you're a business guy, you're involved with a lot of businesses. We use a calendar to run our business. We run our businesses and our lives on a calendar. You put your kids' hockey practice in there, you put your work meetings in there. We all use our calendar for work. One of the things I did about 4 or 5 years ago is I put an hour and a half window every single day for activity. Now, the hour and a half, that leaves 15 minutes to get ready for it, 15 minutes to wind down and clean up, and it leaves an hour to do the activity. And I put it in every single day as a time block, and it's in green. That's just the color I chose, so that no matter what else comes up that day, you can never get rid of that time. You can move it, like if you said, hey, I got a call I want to do with you at 1 o'clock or whatever. Okay, great. Well, that's normally when I do my run. But hey, I got nothing else before that, so I'll move my run before whatever. You're just sliding the blocks around, but you still only have that much time to do it. And not compromising on it. And if I find that if you shoot for 7 days, 7's a bit unrealistic, I know. But if you shoot for 7, you'll end up somewhere between 4 and 6. And
right.
That's pretty damn good, right? If you're going from 0 or 2 or 3 days a week, if you actually put it on the calendar and give it a home in your schedule, it prioritizes it, and you're less likely to cancel it and less likely to kick it down the road. And if you do kick it down the road, there's another one tomorrow. Right? So,
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's like if your business is doing $5,000, don't shoot for $6,000, shoot for 10.
Right.
And maybe you'll end up somewhere around 7 or 8, and you're still way ahead of where your original goal was. And I took that and I applied it to activity.
No, dude, you're brilliant, because I do a lot of the same thing. I use a lot of baseball analogy in business. I use a lot of business analogy in baseball.
Yeah.
I use a lot of, because I talk to kids, obviously I talk to kids a lot. And when I'm coaching, the fact that you're smart enough to realize it doesn't make a difference what it is that you do.
Right.
You can apply the same mental toughness approaches, whether it's for business, whether it's for just, treating people properly, whether it's, right now, here's the one I fail on a lot, because I wear a baseball cap. Like 90% of my life is in a baseball cap. Right now I'm wearing my Wizard of Ads hat. But if I take this off, and I'm going to do it, and I take this off, my hair is just, it's long. It's not where it's supposed. Yeah, it's not where it's supposed to be. My beard, you can see it's like scraggly, right? So my problem is that I don't build into my calendar getting a haircut.
Yeah.
I fit it in when I can, and it's one of those things. Schedule that stuff if you can, do it. I'm a fairly get up and go. Whatever's happening. I'm a creative, so my mind isn't as structured as an analytic. But I've learned over. I mean, I'm 52 this year, so like I've learned over 52 years. Hey, listen, some things you need to be analytical about. You have to be very structured about. Planning out your days. You can see,
and you're a follower of Dan Martell, or you've read his book, right?
Yes, yeah.
One of the big things in that is that creative people are actually the hardest ones to get to use the calendar, but you can schedule in your creativity so that it doesn't get interrupted.
I do that. That specifically Fridays. I've completely blocked out Fridays because 20% of my time I work on me. I work on my podcast, my YouTube channel, these things that we're doing today, just working within my best purpose so I can be the best outward facing marketer of my business.
Yeah.
And that's my Friday. So I do that. And all of my creative endeavors, so writing ads or doing strategy presentations, strategy sessions, all of those are scheduled. They have to be. Otherwise, I'd never get to them. Ever.
Yep. And just
so that's brilliant.
If somebody's looking to start somewhere with just being active, and whether it's a walk on their lunch break, I'm always telling people, recommending to try to like eat your lunch while walking, if possible. If you have a one-on-one meeting with a team member, do it on a walk. A 20-minute walk, sipping coffee, chatting about work or something you have to hash out with a colleague is way better than sitting in a stuffy office.
I'm a student of Evan Carmichael out of Toronto. He's a YouTube master, and he does his messages to his students, to the people he's coaching, who I'm now currently actively doing that with. He's constantly on a walk. He's constantly moving to get his moves in and multitasking and get everything done. So the fact that you just said it, I was like, holy crap! Like, this is literally the high performing people are not going, I'm doing this thing. They're going, what do I need to get done, and how am I fitting it into my day, and they make it happen. I think that's a brilliant piece of advice. I don't know if I could eat my lunch and walk.
Well, it depends on your lunch, I guess, but it's, I guess,
spaghetti would be, and soup would be.
There's so many things you can do while being active. Another one is that if you're a student and you have remote class and you just need to be listening and taking it in, you can do that while out for a walk or a jog or hiking. You can have your headset on and
that's smart.
The audio, right?
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, I do a lot of, when I walk, I'm avid podcast. I don't like audiobooks. I like reading books, but I love podcasts. So I like consuming podcasts while I'm walking. To me, that's probably my favorite. Or being with, I'm highly extroverted, so I find ways to like connect with my kids on walks. Say that again?
You don't seem highly extroverted.
No. No. I don't know if you noticed, since starting my YouTube channel, I have one talking head video and I have 3 interviews because I need somebody else to make me happy, right? I'd steal everybody else's energy. But yeah, so I'll take a family member. I'll do that. But I want to thank you because you really have, I mean, over the course of the last couple of years, we've been flirting with business. We've been talking about how to do some things. Then we got into the baseball stuff. And over the last 6 months, 8 months, we've become more friendly, more like supporting each other mentally too. And I really do appreciate everything that I've been able to kind of absorb from you. Your guidance, the fact that you give me no grief. Hey, I didn't walk today. And you're like, yeah, but you walked yesterday. So good for you. You're going to walk tomorrow, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go for a walk tomorrow. So you are not preachy. Please understand, you've never come across that way, which means you can't come across that way. It's because you're not built for it.
I appreciate that. And likewise, you've done so much for me with, we'll have an off-the-cuff chat about a baseball program or something, and somewhere in there, I gained knowledge about something marketing related that I didn't even ask for, and you didn't even know you were giving, and it's very beneficial for both. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a fairly mutually beneficial relationship, friendship start.
It's funny. I will say this: I had no idea your current baseline of activity. So when I was pushing you to go for a walk, not knowing how active you are or are not, I had kind of in my head, I was like, anywhere starting 15 to 20 minutes is a good starting place. Because I didn't know what you're at, right? And I was pushing you to go for that walk earlier last week, earlier this week, and I got stuck at work till like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like, you know what? I can't cancel my run today. I pushed Matthew to go for his walk. I'm going to go do mine. And I texted you, I don't know the numbers here, but I texted you like several hours earlier to go for that walk. And then I went out, I was doing hill repeats and just crushing myself, and I'm on my way back, and I text you, and I'm like, did you get that walk in? And your response was a picture of you and your son, and you're like, we're still walking. I was like, yes, like, that was like several hours later. I was like, okay, well done. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
I think we left when I said I'm going to go for my walk, I got interrupted and I had to do something with him. And then I said, well, since you interrupted me, get your shoes on. Let's get the dogs. The dogs went out with us. We actually had to carry the little one because we walked so far and uphill. No, we walked downhill first and had to walk uphill back. Don't do that. Do that in the reverse. Walk up the hill first, walk down backwards. And I had to carry Peanut, the little one, back up the hill. And so we got a lot of and I took a couple of breaks. Because I'm not as endurance savvy right now. My stabilizer muscles, my lower back muscles are in a lot of pain. I learned an interesting trick about walking sideways, walking up and down stairs, or walking up and down a hill, or an incline treadmill. You do that sideways, both ways, and you're going to work those stabilizer muscles, right? So I'm going to be doing that over the next little while. So before I go outside and walk, I'm actually going to walk up and down the stairs a bunch of times sideways, so that I've already burnt those out a little, and then just plow through. I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to Austin. So I'm here this week, here next week, then I'm gone for 2 full weeks. And when I'm in Austin, Steven Semple, one of my business partners, he's going to be there, and he's an avid walker. He's big. So he goes, oh, I told him our conversation. I told him that I decided to do 75 hard. He goes, okay. He says, 5 a.m. We're going to get up. We're going to do our walk in Austin. He says, and Vegas is my favorite place to walk in the morning because there's nobody there at 5 in the morning. It doesn't get lively until noon because that's when people are finishing their hangovers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to get a lot of cool video, and so I'm going to share. And again, you've been a big part of inspiring me to start this thing and holding me accountable kindly.
I started by pushing you here, but you jumped to 75 hard. So I feel like within a couple weeks you're going to be past me.
No, God, are you? Yeah, okay, dude. You and I'm twice the man you are in weight. So let's just calm down. All right.
75 hard is awesome though. Like, I'm super pumped that you signed up for that.
Yeah, it's that's the other thing too, is I'm a all in or nothing kind of guy. Yeah. So, Jeff, I have one more question for you, and it is, if you had the chance to start business all over again, would you do what you're doing now?
It's funny because there's I don't know who said it, but there was something about if you sold your business tomorrow, what would be the first 3 changes the new owner would do? And I try to ask myself that every 3 months, and then why am I not making those changes? And I know it's a different question, but it kind of relates.
Sure.
I don't know. It's funny. I feel like I would start somewhere similar, but I feel like I would still end up where I'm at right now, because no matter what drives me to work, I love the team we have. I love working with the people we work with. It's like a hybrid between a family unit and a professional sports team. Like, everyone's got their different strengths and everyone's got their weaknesses, including myself. But at the end of the day, when the hard decisions have to be made, we try to look at it through the family lens, not the sports team lens. I feel like I'd still be in some sort of customer service-based industry, and it would be related to being active. I don't know if I'd be selling sporting goods gear, but it would be some sort of hybrid of what I'm doing now, and I don't know what that looks like, but I feel like it would still be customer service-based. Just, when I first started in the industry, one of the things that I really enjoyed was teaching a young kid how to ride a bike. And a lot of times, they don't come to us as a sporting goods retailer to do that, but they come to us to get their kid a new bike, and then you have to put them on a bike that's a little too big for them because mom and dad want them to grow into it, but now they can't use the training wheels, and you've got to actually help them balance that bike, and we have a nice big parking lot for doing that. So unintentionally, a lot of times our sales staff end up teaching a kid how to ride a bike for the first time with mom and dad right there, and it's not really the plan, but it just happens. And there's a really cool feeling that comes from that, and I feel like no matter what I do, I'll be trying to crave and recreate that feeling on some level.
Okay, so I don't know if you have or not, and I've already talked to you about this, but I'm doing this kind of a shameless plug. I'd really love it if you read this book.
That's my next book. Yes, I haven't read that one yet, but we just talked about this last week. That's the next one I got to read. Yeah.
Because you are this, like you live service, you live service mentality, and that's why you get a return in kind.
Yeah.
It's like you and I still wouldn't be talking if I didn't believe in what you do for your community and that you go down that path and having that kindred spirit. But yeah, like this is Evan Carmichael. I joined. I signed up to him to coach before I read the book. I wish I had read the book first. I still would have signed up for the coaching, but the book will completely change the way you feel. Now, and that was my last question, but I did want to make one comment. So we've been talking a lot about what we want to be known for. What is our main thing? And so when I booked this time, I said to you that I was going to book it under the name Move and Inspire.
Yeah.
Because you have boiled down, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you because you can hold this to many different candles, but you've decided that you want to be known as Move.
Yeah. I feel like when you asked me to bring it down to one word, that's the word that just kept sticking.
Right.
I can't stand still. I'm at a standing desk. Like I try to do all my phone calls while walking or running, and I believe in movement, no matter what it looks like. And it's different for everybody, right? Like that's what's cool about it. But just moving your body is what excites me.
Right. Yeah. And I really want everybody to understand that the translation of that move for you specifically, how move affects your life is, and immediately in the first thing is physicality movement. But you move your business by asking yourself every 3 months, if I was to sell my business today, what would the 3 changes be? That's a movement.
Yeah. Well, fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I want everybody to see, like you practice this in all of your life. It manifests for you with, you love families being active and engaged and getting out and enjoying what I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful provinces in the entire country, and get out there and enjoy what it is that we have and be with each other. And so like all those things are incredible. And this is the first time I'm saying this on camera. I solidified mine in a conversation with you of Inspire, because that's really what I like to do. I want kids to know they can be better than they are. I don't care that they move more. I care that they never stop believing in the power that they have. And that goes for my businesses that I work with. That goes with my family members. That goes with you. Like that's why we still talk the way we do. It's always just inspire that next movement. And so today I've now said mine, and I'm going to be changing my YouTube channel to kind of match all that. So Move and Inspire. I think maybe we should do this more regularly and just have our Move and Inspire conversation.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I feel like I fell into this whole movement thing by trying to solve some of my own issues with like ADHD, with just, I don't want to say I don't have depression, but I know that, when it creeps up, or your ADHD gets a little out of hand, or you have high stress with work, I find any type of movement is what solved it for me. So I'm just trying to find the best way to get that out for other people. It's not for everybody, but it worked for me, and I know it works for a lot of other people, and that's why it's so important to me to try to share, to at least start there and try with movement and see if that makes a difference in anything you're struggling with, because it can be a game changer.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I think that's literally where we have to leave this. I thank you for knowing me, knowing you. Like, thanks for
Thank you for knocking on the warehouse door.
Yeah, right. And then thanks for agreeing to let me put your mug on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's a great job.
Awesome. Tell your story a little bit and let everybody know who you are. Anyway, thank you so much. And everybody, I'll be back with another interview. Actually, guys, I do have one coming up.
You don't have a closing line? Like, you don't have a sentence yet? Like,
not yet. No, not yet. You know what? Now I've been inspired. I have to have a closing line. But I do want everybody to know that coming up in the next couple of months, I'm delving into psychology. So I've got an interview with a St. Vincent University psychology professor. We're going to be talking about the psychology of inspiration, the psychology of influence, and how that builds on trust. So yeah, I'm excited because that's a big brain. I haven't done an interview with that before. So yeah, fun. You got it. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. All right, take care.
Okay.